Welcome back to another video. Today we have some good news and some bad news. I guess we'll start off with the bad news, but here is a clue as to what the good news is. So we received a letter from the village. That's usually not a good thing. So let's dig into what we got here. It looks like we have three offenses here. The first one is no visible address or house number. Well, yeah, that's because I take it off while I'm filming for obvious reasons, and sometimes I do forget to put that up. Point number two, this one cracks me up. Abandoned vehicle. Vehicle is unlicensed, has an expired state motor vehicle license, is wrecked, dismantled, or is in an inoperative condition for a period in excessive of 5 days. Do any of these cars look wrecked? Okay, maybe this one looks a little wrecked, but you'd have to be like this close to see that. That's kind of crazy to assume that. This car doesn't look wrecked. Yeah, it has mismatched panels. So what? It's not wrecked. And they all run and drive. In that same bullet point, it says two vehicles in driveway appear inoperable and may have expired license plates. Previous warning about vehicles. I never got a previous warning. This is the first letter I got. By the way, they gave me 2 days to fix all of this stuff. And I think it's funny that they say may have expired license plates. So it's not even that they do have expired license plates, they're just assuming that. And the fact that they appear inoperable. Let me ask, is it the fact that this car has tire shine still on the tires that makes it look inoperable? Okay, well it did just rain and it got a little dusty, but I don't know, does that look inoperable to you? And I think it's funny too, because in the recent videos, we have been driving these cars, especially Fran's car we drove a lot. Had Smokes drive this thing around. I just park it in the same spot. Is that so bad to park the cars in the same spot? I think every neighbor I have parks their car in the same exact spot. And as for the expired tags, check this out. This is the back of Franzie's 240. What we got there? 425. We're a whole year out. As for the Integra, this is what we got here. 624. We still have a couple months for that one. I don't know what they're talking about. And that brings us to our third and final point on this list. Accumulation of rubbish or garbage. Vehicle parts or bumpers on side of driveway. Also says previous issue, but again, this is the first notice. So I will say I did leave the Z bumper. Honestly, it was right here, right next to the Integra. All right, fine. That's totally okay. I meant to throw it away, but I forgot to, so I just threw it in the car for now. This thing is trashed anyways. This is the one that the raccoon exploded. I do have a little bit too much junk still. So my plan is, a lot of you guys have asked for pieces of some of the builds. These are the quarter panels off of the Gloria. You can see right here too, where it was smashed in the back. So I'm gonna start chopping them up and putting them in jars. That way you guys can have a piece of the build, a piece of the journey, and help support the channel if that's what you guys want. And then I'm gonna have to start working on getting some of the 240 stuff chopped up. This is the original tubs out of my 240. So I do plan to cut up those Gloria pieces first, and I did have a Gloria merch design made. A lot of you guys have been asking for it, and I hope you guys really like how it turned out. Here you go, this is what the back looks like. It's got a little bit of a longer fit. I actually switched suppliers. So all my merch used to be coming out of Washington, but now it's gonna be coming out of Illinois, actually down the street. So I can actually go visit the place that's putting out the merch, help design it, plan, and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be doing a huge drop. So this Saturday, May 11th, we're gonna be doing a limited edition run of some of these shirts with a different pattern on them. And then we're also gonna have probably about 100 jars or so of the metal from the Gloria cut up. And I'm really excited to work with this new company. If you guys have ordered merch from me before, I really appreciate your patience, because I know they did not always send out merch in the best time frame. Sometimes it took like 3 months, and I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to send out emails to those who have ordered from me before. That way it's kind of like a thank you / sorry to supporting the channel before and dealing with some of the longevity of that shipping. So just try to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on behind the scenes. It is a lot of hard work, but it's all gonna pay off in the long run. Ideally, I wanna save up for a shop. So I'm just trying to finish up some of the project cars that I have here while I still can, because obviously with the village already sending me letters, they got their eyes on the house, they know. With all that being said, I hope that wasn't too much of a rant for you guys. It's funny to read through the letters that the village sends you sometimes. So that brings us to the good part of today's video, and that is a special box that we got from Wiring Specialties. All right, here we go. It's time to finally increase the power on my KA Swap 300ZX. We got the Link Fury ECU. We have directions. We have a Pro harness. Now, funny enough, I had this harness made tailored to fit in a 240SX. If you guys missed out on some of the wiring videos on the 300ZX, when I put this KA into the Z, I actually made a jumper harness in between the KA engine harness and the 300ZX body harness. So there's no wires that were cut, so everything will be plug and play, hopefully, with this new harness. The harness thinks it's going into 240, but it's really going into Z. We also have a wideband sensor to throw in, intake air temp, and a map sensor. We're finally getting rid of the MAF sensor because it's just not ideal for performance. Also have a bunch of radium fuel rail parts, as well as some AEM sensors and injector dynamic injectors. We don't really need injectors for an NA build, but this harness was built for those injectors because obviously long term we want to boost this KA. So we're gonna have to run large injectors on an NA build. It'll be a little bit backwards, but that's all right. It'll be ready for a boost once it's all installed. This is a whole new journey for me. I've never put an aftermarket harness or ECU on any car. Always run factory, so hope you guys learn a little something with me if you haven't done this before either. First, before I start taking the Z apart right there, let's rearrange some cars. So this is a junk, abandoned Nissan 240SX with expired plates that does not run. Now, since I haven't installed an aftermarket harness or ECU before, I think what I should do first is lay it out and make sure I have every connector and every sensor that I need to really install it. Because if I tear this car apart and I don't have everything, then this will be an abandoned car. And you guys know we can't have that because then we'll get a letter in the mail. All right, so let's lay it all out and we'll spread this harness out and see what we got. I guess the most important thing is to make sure that the ECU fits the plug that came with this harness. So let's do that first. Ooh, this is super nice of them to do. They're labeled too, aux sensor. What is this one? Another aux power. All of these have little labels on them as well. Fancy box. This one should go here. Sweet. What are these two ports? Oh, I think that's the data link connector. So in my mind, an engine harness starts at the ECU, so everything goes here and then just spreads out. First branch off, we got this interesting looking plug. Okay, I recognize these. These usually go to the dash harness for your gauges. If you're gonna be using factory gauges, that is, which I will be, so I know for sure those will be good. This also looks like an engine harness to body harness plug. Same with this one. ABS, we're definitely not gonna be using this plug. It's cool that it's labeled. Thank you for that, Wiring Specialties. And this is the engine harness from the KA into the Z body harness. Looks like I'm only utilizing one plug here. So I'm not even using this plug. Interesting. So I've unplugged the KA harness right here. This is technically the Z body harness that I converted to be an S13. Let's make sure it fits this plug. Looks good. Got it connected all the way over here. I love that I'm using the 240 as a workbench again. Let's keep working our way up. So we have these two next. I'm not really sure what this is for. Hopefully we'll find something out about that. So now we have all of our main sensors to the engine. Start all the way over here. Looks like we have a sub harness. So what is this for? Maybe IAT? Let's find out what these plug into. Here's our IAT and our map. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's definitely IAT. Let's see, this one's 3-pin. Yep, that's gotta be for the map. All right, this is the next strand. These look like the factory engine coolant temp, or is this idler control valve? ECT, this goes to the factory coolant temp sensor in the intake manifold. TPS, thank you for labeling all this. This is so nice. 3-pin, yeah, that one's good to go. Alternator plug. Fuel pressure, so this is gonna be a sensor plug. I'm gonna be using these AEM pressure sensors. This is what it looks like. This is the part number. And does it fit? Yes. Cool. Flex fuel. I don't know if I have this sensor yet. Wideband O2. This is our wideband. Perfect. 3 and 4. Oh, these got to be injectors. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 injectors. Fast idle. Well, that goes to the idler control valve. And our very last sub harness, the coil packs. All right. I think we have enough to get this thing in the car and running. There are a couple of sensors that we don't have, but that's all right. All we need to do is get this thing installed and then have our homie Mike come over and give it a quick tune. Then we can take it to the dyno again. I gotta say, removing this harness is going way smoother than anticipated. Thought it'd be a lot harder to get to all these sensors. I forgot I gotta get the MAF sensor, which is under this panel, which I think is such a cool feature about the 300ZX. You just take off this little nose panel here. I don't think it's supposed to be that quick release, but mine is. And now we can just get to it. Oh yes, there we go. Fun fact, that's actually the first time I've ever taken the harness off of this engine. When I pulled it from the junkyard, I didn't disconnect anything. And before we throw on the new wiring specialties harness, I think we should figure out the fuel rail situation, especially because we're not going to be able to use this one. I've never used any radium products before either, so this will be new to me too. Or injector dynamics, never used these. Like I said, everything I've ever had, bone stock ECU, bone stock injectors, all that stuff. So this is fun stuff for me. It's pretty sweet. I opted for the fuel pressure regulator that fits directly onto the fuel rail itself. It's got a whole bunch of fittings with it. And then here's our injectors. They're purple. I wish you can choose the color because I think it would have gone with black. Oh, and just for reference, these injectors are ID 1050s. At this point, I'm just test fitting some of the fittings that I have. So I think this one will go here. And that is how the regulator will attach to the rail. Yes, that makes sense. All right, we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna leave all of these loose right now. No need to tighten them if I'm not sure about it. There's a huge opening on the bottom of this rail. My best guess is that's where this cap goes. So where's the sensor go? Maybe in one of these ports? There's 2 open ports on this still, and there's 1 open port on the rail. Look at that, the bottom of this will actually tell you high pressure from rail, and then 2 aux ports. And it looks like our AEM sensor fits directly into there. That's really satisfying. Well, 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 look who showed up. It's not every day you see an R34. What's up, man? So we're looking at where to put the O2 sensor into the exhaust stream here. And this obviously is a little too high up. That's only gonna get 1 runner, so it's not gonna be the best for tuning. And this thread was stripped. So we're in the process of re-tapping it, but luckily the tap is going in here very smoothly, so hopefully it'll be good to go. Yes, the thread's actually re-tapped nicely. You know, it's usually hit or miss with those tap and die sets, but man, we lucked out. Just as long as we can get this tight without it going lefty-loosey right at the end. That's good. We've gotten the rail figured out, and Mike is putting on an AN line for our return side here. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
I hate doing AN lines. And these still swivel, even though they're tightened down, they still move around. It's pretty cool. Now let's do the fun part of disconnecting the fuel rail and fuel lines. And I forgot to relieve the fuel pressure. So we're gonna have a special surprise when we pull off these lines. Already loosened the fittings and, oh, just a couple of drips. Not bad. This side. A little bit, not much. Crusty delete. Oh man, this manifold gasket is crusty. Hopefully soon I'll be able to refresh that. That's not good. These are like the cushions for the injectors. Our new injectors come with different styles. Here are the insulators for the new injectors. I'm gonna slide these guys in. Might need some grease. Ideally, I'd want to use white lithium grease to put some lubricant on here, but I don't have any. So I'm gonna use some PAG oil. This is supposed to be used for AC and refrigerant type stuff, but it's so slippery and goopy that it might just do the trick for us. Nice and lubricated. Slides in there way easier now. Next, we're gonna prepare the injectors. We should put some lubricant on these as well. Unfortunately, we don't have that white lithium grease, so we're gonna use what we have. And we're gonna stick them in the rail first. Lube her up real good. Okay, put it in the right hole this time. Let's see how this goes in here.
Does the pressure sensor clear?
Yeah, luckily this swivels still, even though it's tightened.
9 out of 10, you're about to drop the spacer.
Man, don't say that.
Is there enough room for those to go down more? Actually, maybe we could just pull the top hats off. So, the injector top hat made everything a little too long for the spacers that we have with the rail. So we're gonna pop off these little clips here and pull the top hats off. And that way we can see if the spacers fit with our current setup. You just kinda...
Oh, the whole collar comes off.
Take the collar off.
Ooh, okay.
And then these just pop out like that.
So those purple collars, I guess, those are just spacers then?
Yes.
Quick test fit. They look so short now. No. That might be good.
Pop these out. And
Oh, you're the one that dropped it. All right. Okay, it's flush right now. That rail looks pretty sleek, honestly. Next, we're gonna install our return side here. Luckily, like we mentioned before, these swivel even though they're tightened, so we have nice access to put on our fitting. Well, this swivels too, that's cool. So we can really put this any way we want. Fuel system is done. We are ready to install the harness. The moment we've all been waiting for.
Push this guy through there. I'll probably have you feed it and I can pull it through.
So our plan of attack here is to start plugging in the connectors that are furthest from the firewall, right?
Yeah, so start at our distributor, which is now our cam angle sensor, because we have a nice K-series coil pack conversion.
All right, first plug installed. What would you think our next farthest point is? Maybe the IAT?
Our TPS, our coolant sensors.
Oh, this stuff right here?
Yes.
Okay, installing the IAT again. Removing that bung that was there. These are K20 coils. Do they go all the way down? Doesn't feel like it.
They'd probably bolt to the bracket.
It's time we get the Link Fury X. Do the honors, Mike.
The most expensive ECU they make, other than the new G5.
Hey man, this is the one you told me to get, so yes. I was like, all right.
Just plug these guys in.
Sweet.
Cool beans. Everything installed.
All right, so what do we have here?
We load our Fury default map, and then we have to assign all of our sensors and calibrations here, based off how they wired it.
That's nice that it's color-coded and everything.
One oil pressure that we're gonna do.
Okay.
Come in here into oil pressure, and then set that up. And this one's on analog voltage 4, so you set that in there, and you would set the sensor that you're using, and we don't have one plugged in right now, so that's not useful. ECT should be on temp 1. You scroll down, go to AN temp 1, and basically set your calibration. So we know this is a Denso NTC sensor, pretty much stuff like that.
Wow, so this takes a little bit of time even just to set up.
Yes.
All right, so we got our unlock code successfully
so now
opened
we can
up.
just test our injectors out.
Oh, let me go hear it. Oh yeah, they're clicking. It's crazy that this doesn't leak with all these movements. You hear it flowing through there though.
28 psi.
28 psi? Is that too low?
There in the green, yes, that's too low. So if you watch that while I turn this.
Oh, you're gonna adjust it?
Yeah.
30, 31, 35, 6, 40. Yeah, it's up there.
Are we at 43?
42.3.
How about now?
43.
Okay, and that's where you want to set it.
The fuel pump sounds different too. It's like struggling now. Well, not struggling, but you hear the tone change.
I just want to see if the trigger signal works.
First test start attempt.
Oh, so it gets trigger signal, it's seeing it. So now we just shoot it with a timing light.
Is there like a notch on here? Oh yeah, yes. That pin, right? Something down there on the balancer. What? It wanted to start right there. Okay, we finally got the timing somewhat adjusted. That way we can try and start the car and calibrate it even further. We ready for the first official test start?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. Dang, it fired right up. It almost sounds different than the stock ECU. Is that weird to say? Okay, timing's locked. Now the light will be showing us.
Gotta look out for this nice clutch fan.
Yeah. How are we looking?
You can see our yellow line is quite a bit off.
Oh, let me get a zoom on that. Hold on. Okay, so we're trying to move that yellow to that pin that's sticking out. So are we advanced or retarded right now?
We are very retarded.
This is fun stuff. I love learning how the ignition and all that works. I've always wanted to know, so I guess that's why it's so exciting. Made a slight adjustment. Where are we at now?
So now we're at the 5 degrees after top dead center.
Okay.
So we still need to go another 20 degrees.
All right, sounds good.
And now we're just about dead on.
Oh, that's so close.
Just from your angle, it looks off, but if you look from this angle, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's good.
Perspective is everything.
Definitely. Hell yeah.
now that we know we're locked down, we need to make sure these stay seated. Otherwise, we're gonna have a misfire.
For real. Sweet, dude. Are we ready for a test drive? Or do we need to tweak some more things?
Yeah, we can test drive it.
I mean, we don't gotta rush it if it's not ready.
Clean up the wiring a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure everything stays seated.
We didn't end up using every connector that was available. Because as you guys know, we don't have everything set up because this is a turbo harness. So got a lot of extra plugs here. Live updating.
Yes.
So what is it that you're doing? Because I cannot compute anything you're doing.
Just kind of building out a fuel table. So where you're cruising, where you're too lean, we just need to add more fuel. Pretty much all across the board from where it's already set up. Just blend everything together just as a baseline until we kind of get the shape that we want. Granted, there is some boost on this table for later activities. But as for now, around 1500 cruising, we're pretty good so far.
Cool. Yeah, starting slow and then we'll work our way up.
Yep.
Quick stop at Noodles for You, my favorite restaurant. Well, after some passes back and forth, up and down some back roads, we finally got this thing dialed in. It didn't even take, I don't even think it took 20 minutes.
It took a little longer than that.
You knocked this thing out quick, dude.
Yeah, it's mainly getting the start and idle figured out. We had to manually adjust the IAC as there wasn't enough minimum airflow to come into the manifold for startup.
Yeah, the screw was too tight basically on the manual adjustment. So we just loosened it 2 turns and perfect every time.
So now he can show you some startups and it fires right up every time, better than stock ECU.
Better than stock. It's right away. Yeah, appreciate your help, dude.
Yep.
And if you guys need a car tuned, hit them up. Where can they find you?
My name's Mike. We're with Sakura Garage. We have a Facebook page and website is sakuragarage.net.
Cool. Yeah, I'll make sure to link that down below. He does some quality work and he's definitely going to be tuning it when it is boosted. And somehow, some way, with no bracket holding these in, we didn't have a single misfire. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
I did take off the boots on the bottom though, so it was sitting directly on the spring inside the coil. I don't know if that helped or not, but got some things to clean up here eventually. But hey man, this is huge, huge progress.
1-day install for full harness, fuel system, and coils.
And a tune.
Yes.
That's huge, man.
We got out here started around noon.
Yeah, man, I'm big hyped. Well guys, the Z is running better than ever, and that is special thanks to Wiring Specialties for making this such a painless install, and also special thank you to Mike for helping me set this up and tune it for me all in one day. I'm gonna have to take this thing back to the skid pad to see how this thing performs while I'm still collecting more pipes and parts for the turbo build. But thank you guys so much for sticking around for yet another video. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already, subscribe to see more. See you guys in the next one. Peace.